Vehicles around them now. So till we go there, we're going to go have a look for Kanuma.
And as you can all see, it's a beautiful full moon this evening, and we're about to enjoy a beautiful sighting. As a lot of you may be aware, the Juma waterhole camera has found Kunyuma, and he's lying up not far from us, just down behind us, and we'll be there in just a matter of seconds. It looks like he's lying up in a dead tree, so it's going to be absolutely beautiful. It'll just be a few moments until Brent gets us into the correct position, and how exciting that the other vehicles did luckily find the mating pair of leopards. So with a little bit of luck, we'll be able to sneak in there a little bit later. But like Brent said, there were a lot of vehicles in that position looking for them, and now they are enjoying the sighting. So we just have to wait our turn, but not a bad prospect to wait with another leopard. The sun,
Mike,
one of
what's
the
my
leopards
best
that we
approach?
will hopefully be seeing mating shortly. So good prospects this evening, and apologies for
Copy,
the technical
thanks very
issues.
much.
As soon as the broadcast cut, VM said he had lost signal from us. We noticed a lot of smoke coming up from the back of the vehicle, so we all panicked, as obviously a fire in a vehicle can,
Especially an aluminium vehicle.
can go badly very quickly. So we cut the power supply to all of the parts that were melting, and thankfully VM, who is so technically minded, has managed to already resolve the problem, and it wasn't a minor one. So very grateful for his skill set this evening. And he's back in FC now, so thank you VM for all your hard work.
So when
You'll have to go back.
go back.
On the screen.
So when
Stop. Let it forward. Or at least turn the light.
so, sorry, I've just got a lot of talking in my ear for a moment, yeah?
Turn the light on again.
Just wait. We will, as soon as we can. Out of the way.
So folks, just stand by for a second. There's a few vehicles leaving the sighting, so we're just going to reverse a little bit. And while Brent, he's got a very busy earpiece blaring into his one ear, is concentrating on a lot of things at one time, and I know what he's going through. So we're just going to try and extract ourselves from the chaos momentarily. And as you can see, there's a lot of movements, and we're just going to wait for everyone to reposition and or move out of this sighting before we get into a good spot. So things to bear in mind as Brent is listening to the radio, and there's people talking about this current sighting, the leopard's mating sighting. A lot is going on that radio, and the chatter through the earpiece can be hugely distracting. So we can let him focus on that.
Copy, thanks, Andrew. Mike, confirm, are you moving out of the sighting? Copy, thank you very much, Mike.
Looks like we've got the green light now, so in just a few moments we are going to have an absolutely beautiful view of this young male leopard.
Oh, isn't that stunning? He's found himself a nice, comfortable spot. Looks like actually his bum is on a bird's nest. Isn't that wonderful? Now, if I was a leopard, that looks like a wonderful spot to have a snooze. He's had a good couple of days. 2 kills, the baboon and the duiker. So he's well fed. There's no real reason for him to move any particular distance at the moment. That's why I think he's probably only moved about 500-600 meters in the last couple of days. Nice drainage line, lots of shade, water.
And you got to see some incredible action
We did.
between him and the hyena.
And the hyena and then the buffalo.
And
It was a fantastic. I know. He's tired of the paparazzi. Oh, he's very hot. Oops, dropped a stick off the bird's nest. I'm sure whoever used to own that nest is quite happy they're not present at the moment. Oopsie. There we go. So he's just in front of Scott at the moment, right off the edge of our vehicle. Looks like he wasn't the most comfortable. Might go down for another drink. Gavin coming. Sorry, Gav, do you have a definite lineup from that other sighting yet? Copy, thanks very much, Gav.
well,
Lex, do you know what exact position that is?
Distracted having a look at how the photos came out. And there's some okay ones. It is difficult at night, and I often find myself getting so excited, especially in a beautiful sighting like that. You get a bit caught up in the moment.
I copy and confirm that's Mvula and Kwatile, that's from last night.
And I'm sure a lot of you must have got some beautiful, beautiful screenshots there.
Guys, I'm sorry, I know it sounds terrible, but we're going to leave Kanyuma, who under normal circumstances I would never leave, but we do have an opportunity to go have a look at those leopards, and we did spend an inordinate amount of time looking for them both this morning and this afternoon, so I'm quite excited to get there. Apparently we've missed out because they bumped into another female and I don't know what happened. I just getting chatter in my ear, and so those 2 sightings are split, and the other vehicles have gone off with the other female. Okay. But we're going to go follow the same 2 we had last night. I don't even know which female it is. What I'll do is when the radio calms down, I'll try to ask the guys, and we can get a better update.
Well, some interesting things are happening here in Djuma this evening.
Leaving one station.
And who would believe that 4 leopards are all being seen and watched simultaneously, probably within a mile of one another. So it certainly emphasizes the fact that the Sabi Sands, the area that we're in here on Djuma Private Game Reserve, is one of the best places in Africa to see leopard. And tonight is testament to that.
Leaving one station, that's Karula. Alright, there's some Easter bunnies, but I'm afraid we're not so much the Easter bunnies today. I'd much rather Easter leopards.
Yes, Easter mating leopards is a far better prospect.
Okay, we're spot life.
I can do that.
So I'm not sure what's going on. I'm sorry, the radio is really...
Okay, well, I will talk you through what I'm doing here.
Let's come in. Confirming still make our way. We're on Guns at the junction with Wahlberg's Nest.
As we scan through this thick bush for different animals, but it only requires a quick beam of light to be swept across the eyes of animals, and they reflect very brightly. And it's that reflection in their eyes that is easy to detect. And once you have detected those eyes, you can stop.
Just stand by. I'm trying to get us other sighting.
So I'm not shining that much.
Copy, thanks very much, Lex.
It's important to shine quickly so we can cover both sides of the road, and it's also very thick vegetation here. Now, another important thing about nocturnal...
We will probably be with you in 2 minutes. Also a little bit longer. We're nearly in that position. Sorry guys, it's really crazy at the moment. So now those two sightings, the leopards have split, but now the other female, who we're not sure it is now following the other pair. And so the sightings might join. So we're going to go to the female who's following, because there's now, just so we can stand by and see what's happening. We don't want to
Sounds good.
Cause too much pandemonium.
We will only shine on the lights on specific animals, and those are typically nocturnal animals.
Sorry, go again.
Whose night sight can readjust, whereas daytime animals, a lot of the herbivores will
copy. Sorry, I just had
eyes will take a long
too
time
much
to
noise on
readjust
on the other channel.
So we avoid shining on them and viewing them. So we'll only view typically predators at night, but there are a few other nocturnal animals that we will also view if we are lucky enough to see them.
VM confirmed that other mic is now in a better position for Scott.
So apologies if my audio hasn't been coming through very well, but we are doing this double presenter drive for the first time, so it's taking a little
Cancel,
bit of
sorry,
time.
unfortunately the cable came out. I'm just trying to adjust it.
But I hope you guys are enjoying the change of scenery, and myself and Brent certainly are enjoying being out together with one another, and especially considering the fact that we are heading towards something that is just so exciting. It's something that we haven't shown anybody in the 5 months that we have been filming since the beginning of November. So if any of you are viewing for the first time, you've tuned in at a very good moment.
Okay, then mic should be up. Should there be a light on that bike?
Yep, there is. The microphones as we go, and that is what I'm doing now.
Better from that position than where it was.
What was a very hot evening earlier on has now become a cool and absolutely still beautiful evening. So we couldn't be luckier with the weather, and the fact that this moon is rising above us is going to make for a very memorable evening. And it's important to realize, and I'm sure a lot of you know, especially those who have been following the drives for some time now, is that we can go for long periods of time without having
the station with
good quality
fuzzy
sightings,
at
extremely
Twin
memorable
Dams
sightings.
Junction with
We
Vulture's
spend
Nest
hours and hours out here every single day, 6 hours a day, and something like this is only
Sorry, Lex,
happening
I'm
for the first time in
confused.
5
Have those
months.
two sightings joined
6
now
hours
again?
a drive, 6 hours a day daily driving.
Okay, we will stand by then. the leopards have joined up again, so it's now become one sighting.
Okay.
So they're just asking us to hang back while we sort of figure out what's going on. So, and obviously we don't want to put too much pressure on the animals. You'll probably find there is going to be added pressure with 2 females, especially one female who's so far out of territory, all in one place. So we're just going to stand by and wait for our gap.
Sounds good.
It's like the gap Scott was running through on the touch rugby field today. Now, to give you an idea, if we didn't have any lights and we switch off all our lights, this is why you shouldn't walk around at night. You lose almost, and it's a very bright night with a full moon, and we would still be very much bait for a lot of the predators out there, specifically the lions. So when people want to go home when it starts to get dark, it's actually an instinctual response from when our ancestors lived on the African savannas. We wanted to get home before it was dark so we could get safe from the other predators. Well, let's see. It's going to be difficult, but we can try now that we have a moment stationary to look at some stars. Remy, you know the Southern Cross?
Yeah.
I don't have to point it out to you. Let's see if we can see it on the monitor. The moon does make it quite difficult. Oh, we got a few sparkles in the sky. Just wait for the focus. Come out a bit wider. Okay, no, in slowly. Nope, we did, but as soon as you go too wide, we lose them. So if you go in slowly, stop. Okay. Are you on the? Which stars are you on? Are you on the axis? Are you on the cross? Okay. Can you drop down to the pointers for me, please? And stop. Perfect. Nice. Well done, Romeo. So what we have there are the 2 pointers that point towards the Southern Cross. So the false cross, which is higher in the sky than the Southern Cross, doesn't have those pointers. So that's the sort of giveaway, or not giveaway, the indicator between the false cross and the real Southern Cross. And the bottom star in your screen there is actually a binary system made up of more than one star. There's actually 3 stars, but there's a binary system of 2 stars that rotate around each other. And the closest star to the Earth, apart from the Sun, obviously, is in that, and that is called Alpha Proximus, for obvious reasons, and that's about 7, I think if I remember correctly, I'm a bit rusty on my stars, but it's about 7 light years away. Sorry, Scott, I just need to listen for a second.
Copy. Romeo, can you put both the pointers and the Southern Cross into the...
It seems to disappear, unfortunately, when we do that.
Together.
We lose it.
Yeah,
Okay.
So, standing by, Lex. Copy, thanks. What is my best approach?
Okay, well,
Copy, thanks very much, Lex. If you would like to come back a little bit later, we will make space and then just stand by till everyone else closes down.
Sounds like we have been called in, so now clearly you can see we've started up and are heading closer towards this mating pair of leopard, and I'm guessing and hoping that we are going to be left alone. All the other game drive vehicles are going to head back to their camps, and we could possibly be enjoying the sighting on our own, and wouldn't that be incredible? Either way, what is the most important thing is that there's a chance that we are going to see these mating leopards shortly. Now, unless we saw something incredibly rare, like a pangolin, a bark, or potentially a porcupine.
Breeding herd of pangolin.
Breeding herd of pangolin would cause us, barring that things are going to be ignored, sadly, because as I have mentioned, it's been 5 months of being out day in and day out, and what we're about to see now has never been seen before in 5 months. A few records you could say that have been broken recently. Just about a week ago that we managed to see a cheetah for the first time in 5 months, and we got really lucky. We managed to see it in the morning and the afternoon. So okay, well, there's some game down there, so I'm just going to be quiet and very relaxed, but we're just going to get in position so don't expect too much from us until we see what we're looking for. Scent marking, so obviously one of them, possibly both of them, are scent marking. It's an incredible smell like freshly buttered popcorn. They're just in front of us, and the two vehicles that are in front of us are going to slowly stop, pull over on the side, and eventually we'll be allowed to follow from the front, and that way each person takes a turn leapfrogging ahead of one another so that we can share the sighting. At the moment we're at the back of the queue, but there's only two vehicles in front of us, and in just a few minutes we are going to be spoiled. We're very fortunate in that we're currently walking down the road. They've spent the whole of this morning off roads, despite checking all the roads for tracks. Brent couldn't find any this morning, and they were in the middle of a very, very thick block of vegetation. Now, however, they're on the road.
Lex,
Very happy with that.
So Lex, do we have an ID on that third female, just from an interest point of view? Okay, copy, thanks very much.
Oh, you may have got a few brief glimpses of them walking in front of vehicles ahead of us. I'm not too sure, I can't see the monitor. it's angled towards Brent. But like I say, we just have to be a little bit more patient. And I know a lot of you have been waiting hours, but so have we, and especially Brent. We spent basically 3 hours this morning searching for them, at longer. We actually extended the morning drive in the hope that he would find them. And until we had our technical difficulties this afternoon, we were again on the trail of these animals, searching high and low for them. So we're all just excited as you are, and it won't be much longer until we get a view.
So what we're going to do is, once we get a bit of space, which we're coming into an open area now, we're going to reposition so we can actually have a view. Nkomo mfo.
So it appears like we've just slipped one notch further up the tube, so now we're in second place.
They're splitting.
Jason might even start being able to get some views.
We've got to choose a leopard now.
Stick with the female.
Is that the female on the left? Can't see yet.
It's all on the right.
Yeah. Right, there's another female apparently right behind us, literally coming up behind us. So I'm just going to have a check.
So initially we saw the female, she walked off into the bush, and now this is the big male.
Who is this? I'm going to hesitate this. Just from a body shape, it looks like Karula.
It does look like
It
Karula.
looks like Karula coming up behind us, following this mating pair.
This is incredible, Brent.
That's amazing. This is very exciting.
Who do I point at? Who do you want me to point at?
Just Karula's going to walk right next to us on the left, so get ready there. I'm pretty sure it's Karula just from the brief view I had.
And now she's just changed direction, and she's going to be popping out on Brent's side of the vehicle now.
Oh, that's Karula. She's full. So she followed the female scent. She left Mvula and she followed where the female went. And she's watching very carefully. The legs coming.
Mind your head, please.
The third female is Karula.
Does that lower belly not look like she's pregnant to you?
It could be, but I saw her 3 days ago and it wasn't there. I don't know whether it's a food baby,
Okay.
or an actual baby. So we're going to stick with her just on the edge, just to see what's happening. She's literally following the female scent rather than the male scent. So she knows Mvula, but I'm quite sure, like any good female leopard, she would very much like to know she's stalking a scrub hare. The Easter Bunny might be out of luck this weekend. This is the second time in 3 drives we've seen leopard try eat the Easter Bunny. But we're not going to shine the lights, obviously. This third of us is showing interest in a scrub hare.
So every now and then we'll just shine quickly, just to have a look and see if the leopard has moved on or the scrub hare has run off. But basically, the leopard is just in front of us on the road, as you would have seen, and she's crouched down now. She's seen a scrub here. It's probably 30 meters in front of her, which is far too far away for her to catch it. She would need to be 5 to 10 meters away before she launched an attack. Now, the reason why we don't shine the light is that...
So we don't want to disturb her hunting, so we're gonna go join the other two leopards. Obviously, with us driving around directly behind her, and with her general behavior so far, she's more than likely going to pop up again behind the other two.
Well, this is what happens when you get 3 leopards in one sighting. There is actually going to be a little
There's
bit
a lion on, apparently I'm just hearing there's a lion here as well.
Well, there we go. Now there's a lion in the mix. So, who knows what's going to happen next. I can see some of the leopard on our drinking, so it really is
Dan, can you confirm which down?
crazy sighting that we're enjoying. And who knows what's going to
You can see
happen.
the lioness just popping her head over the edge, watching the leopard drink. Wow, this is the second time we've had lions and leopards in the same place. Okay. So let me just reposition slightly so we can see the lioness as well. Okay. So
Head please, Brent.
sorry. Apparently there's also an elephant coming to drink at the dam from the other side of the dam as well now. Stations, while there's a lion and leopards in the same position, please can we keep all vehicles stationary? No, don't worry, Andrew. That was another vehicle. See, Romo, pop there. See, there's a lioness watching the leopards drink. So, while we're stationary, it's okay, because we're not making a noise and stopping the leopards being able to hear and whatnot if they happen to bump into her. But if we're moving, we would affect their hearing and stuff, and we might affect an outcome. So that's why I just said, while we have 2 apex predators in one place, we're just not going to move the vehicles.
Head please, Brent.
So, now we're in a bit of a predicament, folks. And myself and Brent both feel that it would be the wrong thing to follow these animals. So we are just going to sit here and wait and see what happens. The leopard are heading towards where that lioness was, which is obviously a very dangerous scenario for the leopards. We don't have control of what goes on here though with the other vehicles, so we'll just do what we think is right and possibly think of rejoining that sighting later. But how beautiful was that to see those two drinking, to be able to compare the size of a huge male
Andrew, come in.
to that of a small female.
Andrew, do you have a view of that Mafazinga? FM, but the Inga moving south towards the dam wall. How far is she from the dam wall? Is she moving, or is she moving at all?
You may have heard a loud rumbling sound. That was an elephant. So there's also elephant. Listen to that.
Okay, copy. Those Ingwe are mobile towards where Twin Dams goes over the dam wall. So we're just gonna stand by here. For now, I think maybe it's best if you just stand by on the other side, just so we can see what happens.
Listen to how credible that is. And
oh, it looks like the leopard spotted the lion, and there they go. They've run off away from it. Okay, the leopards have run down to the drainage line. We're going to go try follow up. We're going to go try follow up on the leopards. They've run away now. If you want to have a just quick show behind us, Romeo. Elephants aren't the biggest fans of light at night. So I'm not going to keep the lights on them very, very long. Can you see them there, Romeo?
I can't get that far out.
Okay, sorry. And also now that there's other predators around, they could get a little bit uneasy. So as I was saying, charging. I can't see. There's
keep going. It's all good.
We've got lions roaring on the road next to us. We've got elephants behind us. Absolute pandemonium. They're moving off.
I can assure you, every single one of us on this vehicle has a heart that is racing uncontrollably.
The elephants are going into the drainage line where we wanted to go into the drainage line.
I'm sure this leopard's gone up this tree.
I'll have a look now. But I'm just not going to move while we've got elephants just to the left of us. And lions. What's it? We can take a new song on the Steelers, a new take on the Steelers wheel song. Instead of clowns and to the left of me and jokers to the right, we've got elephants to the left and lions to the right.
I think I heard the leopard jumping into
The tree.
And it would make sense because that's where they stopped their pursuit.
And they gave a good roar underneath the leopard just to let the leopard know who's the apex predator in the bush. Wow. This has been, there we go. I got the leopard in the tree. I can't see whether it's a female or a male, but I definitely saw Mvula disappear into the drainage line, so I think this is the female. And then we've got lion scent marking in front of us. We've got a leopard in the tree above us. How much is the leopard? Let's come down. There's two leopards in the tree actually. We've got both the leopards in the tree here. So we've got Mvula and Kwatile. Kwatile is moving down towards, so that look like the Styx lionesses. Everything happening here.
And interesting for everyone to see how far greater climbers leopard are than lion. The lion did not even attempt to climb up this tree, and it's a relatively easy tree to climb up. But the lions gave up and have now moved off because they know, and they would have chased many a leopard up a tree, and these leopards would have been chased by many a lion up a tree. So it's not uncommon for this to happen. It's more common than uncommon. What is uncommon is that occasionally the leopard will get caught out, and then there's no competition between the lion and the leopard.
So if the lions had pushed the leopards further, they would have climbed right to the thinner branches that would have been too heavy to sustain the weight of a lioness. So if you hear the clicking, it's Scott and my camera. So you've got it in machine gun to that. But they'll probably stay up the tree till they feel that the lions have moved off far enough. But how's that, guys? We had lion, leopard and elephant all in the same position. That's incredible. And she's moving. Interesting to see what she's up to. She might come down.
She's going to jump across to that vertical one.
Yeah, it looks like it. Jump. Yeah. There we go. Perfect. Oh. I'm quite sure Karula, who was following, would have heard those lions and decided discretion is the better part of valor and moved off. well, I think all our heart rates are only coming down now. We had those elephants trumpeting behind us. We had the lions roaring next to us. We had leopards leaping in trees. There's a serious bit of action going on this evening. Oh, where's she going? She's climbing, jumping all over the tree. Strangely enough, this is the exact same position at Twin Dams where we had the exact 2 lionesses and the exact 2 leopards last night.
That is uncanny how two such bizarre sightings can be seen and witnessed in the same place within 24 hours.
And the likelihood of it happening in the same place is I mean, the odds are minimal.
What was great, I guess, that all of the viewers got to experience is that leopards are in fact well equipped
to evade.
And there was a lot of concern last night by a lot of the viewers, and that concern is obviously understandable. But these animals are very, very clever and have made it to this age for being wise and clever. And the ones that aren't good at evading lion and hyena are already not with us.
That is called, evolution. What Darwin's theory of evolution. He's got his head away from us. I'm just going to reverse slightly to see if we can see the female, and at the same time I want to have a little check down towards the dam and the water to see if the lionesses are still around, and maybe just have a scan around for Lady Karula. Oops. Okay, climbing up. Trying to get us in a spot where we can see her a bit better. We will come back to the leopards. I'm just going to reverse and see, just to check where the lions are, so we're aware of everything that's going on around us. I'd rather be better informed than not informed, and also just have a quick sweep behind us, see if Karula is still possibly trying to follow. I'm just going to head down to the water quickly. The lionesses are lying next to the water, probably about 70-80 meters. Have they seen something else?
Go back to the right.
To the
Right.
Running around.
Stop.
There's that bird.
Karula.
Oh no, it's Karula. Well spotted, Romeo. There's Karula drinking directly opposite the lions.
Oh, we're both there. Brent, the lions, or was one sneaking around?
No, I only see one lioness.
Let's just make sure one's not sneaking around.
Let's just move a little bit.
Brent, you copy it?
I can't listen to FC at the moment. I'll speak to them now. I've got a lot of chatter on the other channel.
If the other lioness is not there, then
We should turn the lights off.
yeah.
Okay.
Turn off and listen.
Yeah. Stations. We only have a visibility of of those Fuzzy and Gala, and then Karula is also in this position on the western side of the dam, and there's one Ngala looking at her from the west, but we don't have visual of the second Ngala. VM come in. Sorry, go again. Go ahead with your message.
Karula's still there.
The Mvula and Kwatile are in the tree. We are now turned off all our lights because there's one lioness looking at Karula. We can't see the second lioness. So in total there are 5 cats in the sighting, but we do not want to interfere. That's why our lights are off at the moment.
I wonder if that lapwing wasn't shouting at me on the move. Not too serious though.
We're just gonna sit quietly for a little bit longer before we start building questions or anything, and let's just see what happens in the situation. So guys, the reason we're not shining and stuff, as we said, is we don't want to interfere. We can hear a bird alarming sort of in the middle of the dam.
I can see Karula through my binoculars. She's still drinking. I can't seem to see the other lioness that was on the upper side of the water turtle. I think it's just because she's in an area that's casting shadows. It really is incredible how much light the binoculars will let in. And I can see Karula clearly, still clenching her thirst. And now I can see the other lioness that we had a brief glimpse of, and she's still a long way off, so there's nothing to worry about. Karula is safe from the one lioness. We are, however, concerned that the other lioness may have looped around, and that is often what lion will do. They will encompass their prey, and that they try and chase things into one another. Let's hope that doesn't happen this evening.
Copy, thanks. Just an update from FC, guys. VM has just had a gecko kill an insect. I'm just going to do a big sweep with the torch along the top of the bank to make sure what's going on. We're still just checking that if I didn't pick up the eyes of that second lioness. It is possible she's sleeping behind where we can't see on the left. So guys, we're going to move away from here just in case something is afoot. We're going to go back to the other leopards, which we know are stationary, and if anything does happen, we're still going to be able to hear if anything serious happens from where we are with the other leopards.
Good idea, Brent.
Oh, make sure I don't accidentally go into that mic.
Obviously Brent's just getting an update on the radio now, and that's why we just stopped. We'll wait and see what he has to say.
Just stand by them.
Okay, so I'm sure Brent will fill us in what exactly is going on, but it does certainly make sense for us to make our way back to the sighting where we can enjoy the view of the leopards peacefully. It was a great idea of Brent's though to come and have a look what's going on, because now we know exactly what is happening. So
Whoa, there's a hole. I should turn my lights on.
It helps. It helps.
Even when in low range.
So it's just best we make sure we don't interfere with anything. Because imagine if we sat there and we were shining the spotlights to see what happens, which obviously we're interested in. But imagine how bad we'd feel if, in fact.
Trying to think. We're very, very privileged to be able to watch stuff like this. Good evening, Di from Ohio. Di would like to know that if Karula heard the roaring of those lions earlier, why would she put herself in danger by still following? Well, from where we were, she could see the lion on the other side of the dam, so maybe she thought she wasn't in as much danger. And the fact is that another female leopard in one of the core areas of her territory would be a big problem for her. And quite often the females fighting can quite often be a lot more violent than the male fighting.
It would get them a little bit excited. There were a lot of small babies in that herd, and they naturally would be nervous with predators around, and they may have taken out that anxiety and nervousness on us, but it wasn't anything too serious. They didn't come close to the vehicle. They were probably about 25 meters away. But
there was a lot more noise and trumpeting than real threat.
Exactly, but they did let us know that they would like us to leave, so that's what we did.
Exactly. Don't want to overstay your welcome with an elephant. Change of position. Nope. Trying to find a comfy spot for his head on his paw. Good evening, Paul from Los Angeles. Paul would like to know the lion that was roaring, it was actually two lionesses that were roaring. It wasn't a male, so it wasn't the one we saw yesterday. So it was two lionesses roaring. I think they were just letting the leopards know that they're higher up the food chain. A question from Sandy, Scott. She would like to know, will Mvula protect Karula from the lions? I'm afraid, Sandy, he would get his own skin up a tree faster. He would not try to protect any female from a lion. Survival is key for these animals. It's more important than sort of protecting a female in the area.
I agree completely with Brent. They certainly will take their own safety and survival ahead of any other animals, and yes, he will have some kind of connection with Karula, but he knows full well that he would not really be able to aid in the event of a lion attack. He is considerably smaller than even one lioness. Now that there's two here in this situation, it would be no match for these two leopards. Yeah, two leopards really. Although, having said that, some leopards have put up some very brave fights and occasionally got away from lion, but the odds are stacked heavily in their favour.
It looks like I just saw a flash of eyes. The lionesses are coming back towards us, or just standing probably about 50-60 meters from us. Barbara, good evening, Barbara. Welcome on Drive with us this evening. Barbara, Scott would like to know, I'm sorry, Scott, Barbara would like to know what African language we periodically speak.
That's a good question, Barbara. Interestingly enough, this afternoon when I returned from my unsuccessful walk looking for these leopards, when I got to the vehicle, Brent said, "Look,
Let's get to speak into that mic, please.
Okay. So,
Gee, Scott, I know you like me, but this is getting a bit close.
So I'm just having to swivel over a bit closer towards Brent, and the current mic, or the mic that was set up for me temporarily, is clearly not working, so apologies for that. Now, The question was, I've forgotten what the question was after all of this.
What African language do we periodically speak on camp life?
I'm back. Okay, so when I got back from the walk this afternoon, Brent said Luto, which in Zulu and also Shangaan, the local language in this area, it means nothing. So I replied actually in a language from East Africa called Kiswahili.
Just to confuse it.
Just to confuse everybody. So I used a local Southern African language, Zulu. Initially that's what Brent said, and then I know that he knows Kiswahili, and I replied to him Hakuna Bahati, which means no luck in Kiswahili, which is a beautiful language and really interesting language because it's got some similar words, or actually exactly the same words for certain things from the Southern African Bantu languages. So an example of that is nyama means meat in most Southern African languages, and it means the same thing all the way up in East Africa.
And even into Central Africa.
So those are the two languages we were conversing in, and I hope that clears things up for you, Barbara.
Good evening, Laura. Laura's got a question. Would Mvula get between the two females fighting for him? Laura, in my experience, when I have seen multiple females with a male, he just carries on. He lets them fight it out themselves. And unless their fighting sort of affects him, then he might get involved. But generally, he would just let the females fight themselves. I don't know if you've seen anything different.
No, I've also, it's been the same with me. The male leopards probably do the wise thing and steer clear of getting involved in any trouble that they're not involved in directly. So it's a stance that I would probably also take if there was two ladies fighting over me. I think my heart's only started beating normally now. And Brent thinks he can hear something behind us, so he's just focusing on some rustling behind us as we speak.
Can't see anything just yet. What is that? Sorry, go again. Sorry, could you go with that question again?
We're going to have a look at what the lion are up to.
Good evening, Nigel. Nigel would like to know if Karula is still resting by the water or she is moved back to the trees. Well, Nigel, with lions and Karula being opposite each other and we not being able to see the one lioness, we moved out of that area. We didn't want to put the lights on and affect anything that happened. What we can do now is that it doesn't look like these two are going anywhere. We're going to go have a quick look at what the lions are up to, and if we can see Karula on the western side of the bank.
So, welcome back, and let's go and see what happens with these lions. It's been quite a while now, so it will be interesting to see. I'm fairly certain the lion could see the leopard and the leopard could see the lion. With this full moonlight and their incredible nocturnal vision, they would have had no problem seeing one another. And it looks like the one lioness is still here.
I'm sure I saw two sets. Oh, there's no one.
There we go.
And Karula was almost directly opposite where they are now. So it looks like they've eaten since last night. A bit more on their bellies. They were quite skinny when we saw them last night.
Well, we were thankfully wrong about the one lioness potentially stalking Karula, and she was just obscured by some small bushes. So Karula was safe and appears to have moved off safely. She could still be in the area. It would be interesting to see what she does, because I think she would possibly consider the lion as a bigger threat to her than this female that's lurking about her territory. And I hope she does do that, because it would be safer for her not to be here than for her to hang around. Oh yeah, they are very full.
Yeah, they were very, very hungry last night. Well, Sinead, that is a very good question. Sinead would like to know what we think might have happened if the lions had chased all three leopards into the same tree.
I think that tree is big enough for them all to be comfortable.
But it would have been interesting now. At this,
certainly would.
I think would they have fought? The females have fought while in the same tree? Would they have been more worried about self-preservation? Because if they had been fighting in that tree, that noise would have definitely, even though lions have moved away now, would have attracted them back in.
Exactly.
I think so. Very interesting. And Sinead, I don't think there isn't a correct answer unless we're actually there when it happens.
Exactly. I think the size of the tree would make a big difference, because obviously
Yes.
it would confine the anger and aggression and excitement if they were in a small tree. But that is a beautiful big ebony tree with lots of branches for everyone. But like Brent says, there's only one way to know how a situation like that may unfold, and that is to be there and to see it.
Oh, nice big belly. Happy lion. Marianne would like to know whether Scott and myself have ever seen all of the big five in one place. Scott's just busy for a second. I'll answer first. Marianne, I've been very lucky. I've actually seen all of the big five in one place on, I think 3 or 4 different occasions. The first time I was very young though. I must have been about 7 or 8 years old. Or maybe a bit older than that. And then I have seen it in the Sabi Sands on a couple of occasions as well. And Scott?
Sorry, we just stopped there temporarily. I thought I heard lions calling in the distance, but I wasn't certain if it was, so I just motioned to Brent that I thought I heard something. But I have never seen the big five together, so Brent's been lucky to have seen it 3 or 4 times. I have seen sometimes 3 or 4 of them together, kind of similar to this evening, but never all 5.
Okay guys, it's getting quite late and we've got to wake up quite early in the morning, so VM, I think we'll take 5 more questions before we call it an evening. Okay guys, we're going to head back to the leopards, fat, lazy lions, and we'll spend the last few minutes with the leopards. Good evening, Marco from New Jersey. Marco would like to know if any of us have seen a cheetah or a leopard intimidate a lion. He saw it on Nat Geo. And wonders if we've either seen that program or if we've actually seen it in the wild. Margo, I haven't seen that program, and I've actually never even heard of. Actually, I lie. I've heard of a male leopard once, but I don't know much about the story. Intimidating a single lioness, but I've never personally seen it or heard of it.
It's the same for me. I also haven't heard of a scenario like that, and it certainly is possible. There's nothing to say that it's not possible, but it would be a very, very rare occurrence for a leopard to stand up to even a single lion, or lioness for that matter.
And a cheetah
even less so.
Yeah,
cheetah will usually run, as far as I've seen, but then again I haven't seen too many. No, it will be very interesting to see what goes on here, but at the moment it doesn't seem like these leopards are going anywhere, and like Brent says, we've got to get up early in the morning, and it may also make sense that if these leopards did come down from the tree, that we wouldn't be able to follow them anyway, because by us following them, we would muffle the noise or the approach of the lion that may potentially be re-attracted to this area. So even if they did get active, we wouldn't be able to stick around, or wouldn't want to stick around, in case anything nasty did unfold. We would hate to contribute in any way to anything happening.
Mark coming.
Well, what an evening it's been, and we must all say a huge thank you to VM in the final control room, because without his skills this afternoon, none of us would have seen anything. Earlier on drive, we literally had cables melting,
smoke billowing
out of this vehicle, and VM took one look at it and said, don't worry, we can have this vehicle up and running in an hour.
And it was in just under an hour he had it done.
Exactly. And also to Jason, who was his right-hand man, getting that job done.
Obviously Scott and I just sat around talking nonsense.
We were planning the next the next part of the drive.
Can you go again with that question, sorry? So this is the second last question. We'll take one more after this. Shelley in Canada would like to know whether we would whether lions would kill leopards as area, so as a threat that might kill cubs that have been left in a drainage or whatnot, or as a threat. Yeah, mostly as a threat to cubs, I think, was probably the biggest threat from a lion's, from a leopard point of view.
And also on top of that, it's not only a threat to their cubs, but it's also a threat to their food supply. The less predators there are,
we're the only station, yeah, make your way.
The more food would be available for the lion or the leopard. So it's a direct competition. Occasionally, and most often in textbooks, it will say that predators will not feed on other predators that they've killed, but that is not the case, and it does depend on the individual scenario. I've seen lions feeding on leopard, lions feeding on other lions that they've killed. I've even seen a female leopard eating her own cub that was killed by another male leopard. So some interesting things do happen out here, and it often proves the textbooks wrong.
One thing we got to remember, we're the ones that wrote the textbooks, not them. They don't have to listen to the textbook.
Exactly.
Okay, VM, could you send us through our last question, please? And the last question is from, hang on one second, I gotta unclip my clips. It's difficult for tall people to move around in small cars. The last question is from Nancy in Florida. And Nancy would like to know if a female leopard is able to raise her cub into adulthood, when will she mate again?
So it's usually around 18 months to 2 years that they will start to push off cubs, be it male or female. They'll start to be less tolerant of them and actually have a few fights and snarling matches with their own young. And it's not an immediate complete kick out of the house, you could say. They still tolerate them within their territory, but prefer them not to come and feed on their kills, because it's so important for that female to now nourish her babies that are going to be the next litter. Ovaries, yeah, for lack of better word, babies. So she does need to leave her cubs that she has raised up to the point that they require, and then focus on the next generation. So it's usually around 18 months to 2 years.
Sometimes it can be early, up to 12 months, but that's unusual. You could say 18 months to 2 years is a safe bet with leopards, when she'll start coming into estrus again and start looking to mate. Well, everyone, it has been quite an interesting Easter Sunday.
It certainly has.
A lot of tracking and a lot of non-success this morning.
But it's paid off.
It has paid off.
paid off.
Yes, I'm quite glad we actually got to see them again after the amount of time I was fiddling around in thickets this morning. But from all of us here at Wild Earth, from Romeo and Nikki, who's sitting behind us, and VMNFC, thank you very, very much. It's been a wonderful Easter Sunday. I've had an absolutely fantastic time, and I can't wait to get up in the morning to do it all again.
Yep. Until then, have a good morning or afternoon, depending on where you are. And again, one final big thank you to VM for fixing this problem.
The rock star.
Because without him, none of us would have been able to witness this incredible event. And we must all be grateful that we did, because it was
True.
one to remember.
Very, very true.
Anyway.
Adios.